It started with her phone face down on the kitchen counter. Always face down. Like it was hiding something. Or maybe like she was hiding behind it. Either way, I noticed. I didn't say anything. You don't want to be that guy. The one who's always suspicious, always checking, always paranoid. So I just let it be. At least, I tried to. But then came the laughter. Not just any laughter. Her laughter. That particular kind that started low in her chest and spilled out in waves when something hit just right. I used to love hearing that sound. It meant she was happy. But this time, I was in the next room, and she wasn't on the phone with me. She was curled on the couch, phone in hand, smiling into the screen like it knew something I didn't. I walked in casually. She locked it immediately. My heart didn't drop. It sank, slow, like a stone in thick mud. Quiet, but heavy. And I asked, not accusingly, just lightly, "Who's that?" She rolled her eyes, like the question was beneath her. "Nobody. Just work stuff." "Right. Her name is Marissa. We've been married 6 years. No kids, a dog named Marley, 2 decent jobs, and a mortgage that always seemed to grow just as fast as our paychecks. I loved her. I really did. Still do. In some twisted way I haven't figured out how to unlearn. The first time I brought it up, the secrecy, the phone, the laughter, she didn't even get mad. She just smiled, shook her head like I was an adorable fool, and said the line I'd learned to hate more than any insult. "You're just being paranoid." That's how she said it. Like I was crazy. Like the cracks I felt underfoot were just in my imagination. Like my gut hadn't been right before. Thing is, I used to trust my instincts. Used to trust her too. But the thing about gaslighting is that it's slow. You start off firm in your suspicions, then chip by chip, you're made to believe you're the problem. I started doubting myself. Maybe I was too sensitive. Maybe I'd been watching too many crime shows. Maybe it was just work stuff. But then the package came. It was a Wednesday. I remember because I had the day off. I work in tech, remote, flexible hours, and I was cleaning out the front closet when the doorbell rang. Marley barked like he always does, and I shuffled to the door with a sock in one hand and a half-eaten granola bar in the other. The package was small, white, clean edges, nothing suspicious, but it was addressed to her. No big deal, she ordered stuff all the time. Half the packages on our porch had her name on them. What stood out this time wasn't the label. It was the sender. The handwriting was familiar. Too familiar. I tilted the box. Scrawled in blue ink, just below the return address, was a name I hadn't seen in years. Ryan J. I stared at it for a good 10 seconds before my brain even caught up. Ryan J. Not just a name. The name. He was her ex. The one before me. The one she said taught her what she didn't want in a partner. The one she said broke her trust. The one she once called toxic. The package was from him. I didn't open it right away. I didn't open it at all, actually. Not then. I just set it on the kitchen table and waited. She'd be home in a few hours. The clock ticked louder than usual. I tried to work, but I was distracted. I kept glancing over at that plain little box, imagining all the things it could contain. A letter? A gift? A joke? A memory? Or worse, something intimate. Something that proved I wasn't just being paranoid. By the time she got home, I convinced myself it was nothing. I even tried to play it cool when she walked through the door. "Hey babe," she said, kissing my cheek like nothing was wrong. Like there wasn't a potential landmine sitting on our table. "You got a package," I said, nodding toward it. She froze for half a second. Just half. But it was enough. Her hand hovered as she picked it up. She didn't even glance at the return address. Or maybe she did, just too quickly for me to catch. She turned her back to me and said, "Oh, I've been waiting for this." I asked as evenly as I could. "From who?" No pause. "A vendor." I didn't call her on it. Not yet. She walked to the bedroom with it tucked under her arm. Closed the door. Not a slam, just a soft, deliberate shut. I stared at the wood grain of that door for what felt like an hour. The next morning, the box was gone. No sign of it in the trash, recycling, or anywhere else. Like it had never existed. I told myself I'd let it go. I really tried. But that name, written in that same crooked handwriting I'd once seen in a Christmas card she kept in a box under our bed during our first year together, it burned itself into my mind. That weekend, while she was at brunch with her friends, or so she said, I went looking. Not for drama. For answers. In her closet, tucked behind a shoebox of scarves, I found it. The box. Open now. Empty. Except for one thing. A photo. Folded. Creased. Old. Them, her and Ryan, sitting on a pier, laughing, his arm around her like he owned the moment. She told me once she deleted every photo of him. Said it was part of her closure. Said it was how she moved forward. But that wasn't just a photo. That was kept. Deliberately. I sat down on the edge of the bed, photo in hand, my heart going still. The kind of still that comes just before a storm. Because that was the moment I knew. I wasn't paranoid. I was being lied to. I didn't confront her that night. Maybe I should have. But there's something about betrayal that slows you down. You don't charge in, fists flying, not when it's someone you love. You observe. You collect. You wait until the truth is too big to ignore. So I put the photo back where I found it. I didn't want to tip my hand. Not yet. The next few days, I watched her. Not in the creepy, obsessive sense. Just carefully. Quietly. The way you watch someone who's already told you more with their actions than they ever would with their words. She started wearing perfume again. Not just any perfume. The one she used to wear back when we first met. A scent I hadn't smelled on her skin in years. I noticed the way she lingered in front of the mirror a little longer. The way she smiled at texts and tilted the screen away when I walked past. She was slipping, not because she didn't care, but because she believed the lie she told me. That I was just being paranoid. And maybe that's what hurt the most. Not the cheating, though I still wasn't 100% sure it had reached that point, but the ease with which she dismissed me. Like my instincts didn't matter. Like I was a fool for even asking. One night, she was in the shower and left her phone on the nightstand. It was locked, of course, but I had seen her do it 1,000 times. Swipe, tap, passcode, 0726. Her birthday. I picked it up. My hands shook. Messages. Dozens of them. Most innocent enough. Friends. Work. But then I saw a name saved as RJ. She'd gotten clever. I tapped the thread. The messages weren't long, not lately. Just enough to let you know there was a history. Enough to suggest that something had happened, or was about to. Still thinking about that day. Miss your laugh. She'll never know. You were always good at hiding things. I couldn't breathe. Not because it confirmed what I feared, but because it was written so casually. Like they had nothing to lose. Like I didn't exist. She came out of the shower a few minutes later, towel around her body, humming like it was just another Tuesday. I had already put the phone back. I smiled at her, said she looked beautiful. And I meant it. It's strange, loving someone while holding their betrayal in your hands. There's a part of you that still wants to protect them, even as they're stabbing you through the ribs. That night, I lay next to her, staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe. And I made a decision. I wouldn't yell. I wouldn't accuse. I wouldn't storm out. I would find out the whole truth. Every corner of it. And then I'd decide what to do with it. The next morning, I called in a favor. My cousin Liam works in private security, mostly background checks and cyber stuff for corporations, but occasionally, he'd help out family. I didn't give him the whole story. Just enough. She's been acting weird. Can you look into who she's been seeing? Where she's been going? He hesitated. You sure you want that answer, man? No, I said honestly. But I think I need it. He agreed. Told me to give him a few days. While I waited, I went about life as if nothing had changed. I still made her coffee in the mornings. Still kissed her goodbye when she left for work. Still took Marley for walks around the block like everything was fine. But something in me had shifted. The love was still there. But it had a crack now. A thin, jagged line running straight through it. You can't see it from a distance, but up close, it's all you can focus on. 3 days later, Liam called. She's meeting someone, he said. Regularly. A guy. Dark hair. Early 40s. Goes by Ryan. Same last name that was on the package you mentioned. I said nothing. He kept talking. Hotel on 12th and Grand. Once a week. Thursdays. Midday. She checks in for about an hour and a half, then leaves. I thanked him, hung up, and sat in silence for a long time. That Thursday, I drove to the hotel. I didn't go inside. I parked across the street, hands on the wheel, eyes on the front entrance. At 1:12 p.m., she walked out, hair pinned up, smile on her face, looking lighter than I'd seen her in months. Behind her, maybe 10 steps, Ryan followed. He didn't touch her, didn't even glance her way, just walked like a man who had no reason to hide, because he knew she was doing all the hiding for him. I didn't take a picture. I didn't need to. The image burned itself into my mind like a brand. That night, she came home and kissed me on the cheek. Asked about my day. Told me hers was just another blur of emails and meetings. I nodded. Same here. She curled up beside me on the couch and rested her head on my shoulder like nothing was wrong. And in that moment, I realized what betrayal really looks like. It's not loud. It doesn't always come with lipstick stains or late-night confessions. Sometimes, it looks like a smile from the person you trust most. Sometimes, it sounds like the words, "You're just being paranoid." The next morning, I made her breakfast. 2 eggs, toast with jam, and that oat milk cappuccino she liked. She hummed a little tune from the bathroom while getting dressed, oblivious to the storm gathering just beneath the surface of our quiet home. She sat at the table and smiled at me, thanking me for the food. I smiled back. I felt like a ghost, floating through the last day of a life I thought was real. Because I'd already decided today would be the end. Not of the marriage, not yet, but of the pretending. While she was at work, I spent hours going through our shared storage unit. I hadn't been there in months. Dust clung to everything like the past refusing to let go. In a box marked old college stuff, I found what I needed, the card. A birthday card from Ryan dated 7 years ago, just before we started dating. It was signed in that same tilted scrawl, the same way it appeared on that package. It read, "Still the only woman who ever really saw me." Or, back then, she told me she hadn't spoken to him in years. That he was toxic, a mistake, someone she'd never go back to. But he hadn't gone anywhere. And now, neither would I, until I knew why. That evening, she came home early, said she wasn't feeling well. Something in her voice was different, guarded, maybe, tense. She went to lie down, and I sat in the living room, staring at the box I'd prepared. A gift-wrapped package, neatly tied, no card, just her name on top. She found it on the coffee table an hour later. "What's this?" she asked, her voice almost light. "Open it," I said. She sat on the couch, peeled back the paper. Inside was the old card from Ryan, the one I'd saved, the photo from the box in her closet, a printed screenshot of their messages, a folded piece of paper with the hotel receipt Liam had pulled for me, the dates, the times, the room numbers. She looked at each piece slowly, like she was trying to will them into disappearing. Finally, she looked up at me. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. I spoke first. "You told me I was just being paranoid." She started, but I raised a hand. "I'm not angry," I said. And it was true. I wasn't. Not in the way she expected. I wasn't shaking. I wasn't yelling. I was calm. Too calm. "I just want to know why." She blinked fast. Her voice cracked when she said it. "I don't know." But she did. I saw it in her eyes. "It wasn't supposed to mean anything," she added, voice small now. "It started as a stupid conversation." He reached out. I didn't expect it to go anywhere. But it did. She nodded. "I didn't plan it," she whispered. "You planned the hotel." Tears started forming. I was lonely. I didn't feel seen anymore. "You were always working, always tired." "I was working to keep us afloat," I said. "To build a life we could both be proud of." "I know," she whispered. I looked at her then, really looked. And for a moment, I saw the girl I fell in love with. The woman who used to dance in the kitchen with pancake batter on her cheek. Who once cried in my arms because she thought she'd never be able to have kids. Who told me I was her safe place. "I never wanted to hurt you," she said. "But you did." She nodded again. "I know." The silence between us was thick, unbreathable. She reached for my hand. I pulled away. "I'm not leaving today," I said. "Not because I forgive you, but because I need time to understand what I'm walking away from." She didn't fight me on it. She just nodded, wiped her face with the sleeve of her sweater, and stared down at the pile of evidence like it had weight. It did. I slept in the guest room that night. Marley scratched at the door, confused. He'd never seen us like this before. The next morning, she was gone before sunrise. I poured myself a coffee, sat at the table where she once laughed, where we once planned vacations and baby names and furniture layouts for a nursery that never happened. And I looked at the final message from Ryan that Liam had dug up. It had been sent the day after the package arrived. Did she like it? I wanted her to remember what real love felt like. That was the line that did it. Not the hotel receipts. Not the photo. Not the lies. That. Because no one sends a message like that unless they believe they're the winner. And suddenly I realized, this wasn't just betrayal. It was rewriting history. He thought he was the story now. The hero who'd reclaimed her heart from the dull, working husband who never paid enough attention. But he didn't know me. He didn't know that I watched before I acted, that I listened before I moved, and that my silence wasn't weakness, it was precision. That week, I met with a lawyer. By the end of the month, we were officially separated. I didn't fight for the house. Didn't want it. I let her keep the furniture, the dishes, the framed pictures of a life that now felt like fiction. But I made sure of one thing. She knew I knew. And he knew too. Because 3 days after she moved into Ryan's apartment, a small package arrived on his doorstep. No name. No return address. Inside was a single printed message. Paranoia is the price of a guilty conscience. Enjoy it. That was the last thing I ever sent them. Not because I wanted revenge, but because I wanted them to wonder. I don't check her socials anymore. I don't drive by their place. I don't ask mutual friends for updates. Because I don't need to know if they lasted. All I need to know is this. I wasn't paranoid. I was paying attention. And in the end, that's what saved me.